Imagine your body as a sacred manuscript, written in the language of sensation and impulse. Every ache, every subtle twinge, every mysterious symptom is far more than a biological signal. It is a profound spiritual message, a brushstroke on the vast canvas of your soul's journey. Within the ancient wisdom of Buddhist teachings, the body is not merely a vessel for physical existence. It is a wise, truthful guide, quietly whispering the secrets of our karma and spiritual destiny. This is not an invitation to fear or judge your body, but to listen with renewed ears and an open heart. Buddhist philosophy reveals that our physical form mirrors the inner workings of our mind, our thoughts, intentions, and energy. When chronic pain arises, it may be echoing unresolved lessons waiting patiently to be learned. A stiff neck or an aching back could carry the weight of unspoken emotions or lingering regrets. Even a common headache might reveal a mind racing away from the present moment. These sensations are not punishments. They are invitations, opportunities to awaken to deeper truths about ourselves. Within Zen and Buddhist thought, karma transcends the simplistic cause and effect narrative. It is the reverberation of our thoughts, words, and actions echoing through the spaces within us. When left unresolved, these vibrations surface in the body, sometimes as discomfort, sometimes as chronic pain, sometimes as mysterious illness. Yet these manifestations are never curses. They are gentle reminders from our body, the compass of our soul, guiding us toward spiritual understanding and liberation. The seeker's journey often begins with an ache that refuses to fade, a persistent lower back pain that carries the weight of ancient burdens. Despite efforts with posture adjustments, breathing techniques, herbs, and fasting, the pain returns, stubborn and insistent. In the stillness of meditation, the ache grows stronger, revealing itself not as an enemy, but as a messenger. The body, in its infinite wisdom, speaks not in words but in sensations, urging the mind to listen beyond intellectual confines. This dialogue between body and soul unveils that the lower back, known in ancient scrolls as the spiritual shelf, carries hidden guilt, unspoken resentment, and unjustly accepted responsibilities. These burdens reside not only in memory but in muscle, whispering stories of unresolved karma. As the seeker reflects, memories surface like waves, each bringing a tide of sensation, the body recalling what the mind had long forgotten. The journey continues as stiffness arises in the hands, a resistance mirroring suppressed emotions. Buddhist teaching holds that the hands, extensions of our actions, ache when we grasp too tightly. Whether in control, punishment, or possession, the throat becomes another focal point of exploration, tightness emerging not from illness but from untold truths and unspoken forgiveness. Each physical symptom becomes a chapter in the body's dharma book, revealing spiritual lessons waiting to be embraced. The seeker's path illuminates a profound truth. Healing is not simply the absence of pain, but the restoration of balance through understanding. By listening to the body's whispers and surrendering to sensations instead of resisting them, the seeker begins to dissolve karmic patterns, manifesting as physical discomfort. Each breath becomes a prayer, each moment of stillness an opportunity for awakening. In this sacred dance between body and soul, we discover that our physical form is not a cage, but a parchment, recording the story of our spiritual journey. Every illness, every ache, is a passage from this sacred scroll, unveiling karmic patterns that shape our destiny. By learning to read this language, listening with our soul rather than just our ears, we unlock the door to liberation, transforming suffering not through escape, but through profound understanding and presence. As we embark on this exploration of the body's wisdom, we invite you to approach your physical symptoms not with fear or judgment, but with curiosity and compassion. For in embracing the body's messages, we begin to unravel the karmic threads that bind us, stepping into a life of greater awareness, balance, and spiritual freedom. The journey toward healing begins with a single whispered question in the silence. What is my body trying to tell me? It is widely believed that chronic pain arises from a disconnect between our actions, intentions, and spiritual growth. This persistent discomfort serves as a continuous reminder that certain karmic imprints, known in Sanskrit as samskara, remain unresolved, subtly influencing our present experience. The nature of karma and its connection to physical suffering. In Buddhist philosophy, karma extends far beyond a simple cause and effect relationship. It embodies the momentum of our intentions. Every thought, word, and action plants a seed, which, if left unacknowledged, grows into enduring patterns of suffering. These patterns often manifest physically as chronic pain. Our body, the vessel through which we engage with the world, becomes the living canvas where these karmic imprints are etched. When we fail to learn from our experiences or to transform negative patterns, they solidify, leading to persistent physical discomfort. This suffering should not be seen as punishment, but rather as an opportunity, an urgent call to awaken, examine the root causes of our pain, and absorb the valuable lessons they carry. The role of resistance and unresolved emotions. Chronic pain frequently emerges from resistance, our unwillingness to fully experience and process emotions and life's challenges. Many individuals hold on to grudges, suppress grief, or avoid confronting guilt. These unprocessed emotions create energetic blockages within the body, which manifest as physical tension and discomfort. Buddhist teachings emphasize the necessity of facing these emotions with compassion and awareness. Resistance or avoidance disrupts the natural flow of energy and healing, allowing pain to persist. The body, in its profound wisdom, continues to signal this imbalance until we acknowledge and address the underlying emotional and spiritual causes. The concept of samskaras and their physical manifestations. Samskaras, mental and emotional imprints, play a pivotal role in understanding chronic pain through a Buddhist lens. These imprints are the residual effects of past actions and experiences that perpetually influence our present state. When certain emotions or behavioral patterns are repeatedly experienced without conscious awareness, they embed themselves as samskaras. These imprints manifest physically, creating a vicious cycle where the body mirrors unresolved aspects of our mind and spirit. For instance, chronic tension in the shoulders may be linked to a samskara of carrying emotional burdens, or the persistent need to shoulder responsibilities, reflecting feelings of overwhelm or martyrdom. The significance of specific pain locations. Different areas of the body are believed to correspond with distinct emotional and spiritual states, providing valuable clues to unlearned lessons. In traditional Buddhist and Zen thought, various body parts are regarded as centers or chakras of energy and emotion, lower back, often associated with unresolved guilt, unspoken resentment, or carrying burdens not meant for us. This area is metaphorically known as the spiritual shelf, where past emotional weight is stored, hands, linked to our actions and interactions with the world. Pain here may indicate a tendency to grasp too tightly, whether to control, punish, or hold on to past experiences. Throat, the center of expression and communication. Tightness or discomfort here can signal unspoken truths, withheld forgiveness, or fear of authentic self-expression. Head. Related to thoughts, beliefs, and mental patterns. Chronic headaches may reflect overthinking, disconnection from the present moment, or deeply held mental karma. By understanding these correspondences, individuals can begin to explore the specific spiritual lessons their chronic pain is inviting them to confront. The invitation to mindfulness and self-reflection. Buddhism offers practical tools for engaging with chronic pain as a profound spiritual invitation. Mindfulness meditation encourages individuals to observe pain without judgment. By bringing focused attention to physical sensations, one can start unraveling the emotions and stories interwoven with the experience. This mindful awareness helps break the cycle of resistance and avoidance, fostering a deeper understanding of the pain's origins. Complementing this practice, self-reflection through journaling or contemplative inquiry can reveal unlearned lessons. Asking questions such as, "What is this pain trying to teach me?" or "What am I holding on to that needs release?" uncovers hidden emotional patterns. This process requires patience and compassion as it gently peels back layers of habituated responses to expose the root causes of suffering. Transforming suffering through awareness and surrender, the ultimate aspiration in addressing chronic pain from a Buddhist perspective, transcends mere elimination of physical discomfort. It focuses on transforming the suffering it represents. Through cultivating awareness and surrender, individuals can dissolve karmic patterns fueling their pain. This transformation involves embracing impermanence, the understanding that all physical sensations, like all experiences, are transient. Holding this awareness reduces attachment to pain as a fixed state. Cultivating compassion, especially self-compassion, acknowledges pain as a universal human experience rather than a personal failing. Actively practicing letting go through forgiveness, mindful movement, or simply allowing emotions to flow without clinging, facilitates release of emotional and mental tension. Through these approaches, chronic pain evolves from a source of distress into a gateway for spiritual growth. Suffering is not merely endured, but deeply understood and transcended. The body, far from being a prison, becomes a wise guide, pointing toward greater awareness and liberation. The spiritual significance of skin conditions. Within the rich tapestry of Buddhist teachings, skin conditions hold profound spiritual meaning. They can reflect the rejection or denial of the self. The spiritual significance of skin conditions. Skin conditions are much more than mere physical ailments. Within Buddhist teachings, they are profound spiritual signals reflecting a fundamental rejection of the self. As the body's largest organ and its primary boundary with the external world, the skin serves as a visible manifestation of our inner spiritual state. When it itches, peels, breaks out, or becomes inflamed, it is communicating in a language that transcends medical diagnosis, a language of the soul expressing discomfort with itself. From a Buddhist perspective, skin conditions often emerge from a deep-seated disconnection between our true nature and how we perceive ourselves. This inner dissonance generates a form of spiritual tension that physically manifests on the skin. It becomes a mirror reflecting our inability to fully accept ourselves, to embrace our authentic being without judgment or resistance. The condition of our skin is a physical expression of the mental and emotional patterns that obstruct our experience of wholeness and harmony with existence. The role of shame and self-rejection. Shame, particularly spiritual or emotional shame, plays a central role in the development of many skin conditions. Buddhist thought teaches us that shame is not simply a transient emotion, but a powerful force capable of distorting self-perception and fostering profound separation from our true nature. When we carry shame, we effectively reject parts of ourselves, deeming them unworthy or unacceptable. This rejection is not confined to the mind. It permeates our entire being, including our physical form. Our skin becomes the visible canvas of this inner conflict. Conditions such as eczema, psoriasis, or rosacea may surface as physical manifestations of this internal struggle. Each flare-up can be understood as a cry from the body, a desperate signal that aspects of the self are being denied or suppressed. The discomfort on our skin mirrors the soul's unease, revealing a fundamental disharmony that demands compassionate attention. The Buddhist perspective on self-acceptance. Buddhism teaches that self-acceptance is not a luxury, but an essential spiritual practice. To truly walk the path of awakening, we must embrace all aspects of ourselves, the beautiful and the flawed, the light and the shadow. This does not imply complacency or self-indulgence, but rather represents a radical act of love and understanding. Self-acceptance involves recognizing that our perceived imperfections are not separate from our Buddha nature, but are integral parts of our human experience. This practice begins with mindfulness, bringing conscious awareness to our thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations without judgment. When patterns of self-rejection or shame arise, we respond with compassion instead of condemnation. We acknowledge these feelings without becoming entangled in them, creating space for a new, nurturing relationship with ourselves. The healing power of compassion. Central to Buddhist healing is the cultivation of compassion for both ourselves and others. When skin conditions manifest as expressions of self-rejection, compassion becomes a vital antidote. It invites us to extend the same kindness and understanding toward ourselves that we would offer to a suffering friend. Practices such as loving kindness, meditation, metta, can be particularly transformative. By directing phrases of compassion inward, "May I be at ease, may I accept myself as I am," we begin to dismantle the walls of shame and rejection. This compassionate practice does not promise immediate relief from physical symptoms, but aims to address the root causes of suffering, laying the foundation for genuine healing. The journey of self-discovery and transformation, healing, skin conditions from a Buddhist viewpoint is not simply about suppressing symptoms. It is an invitation to embark on a profound journey of self-discovery. This process involves peeling back layers of self-rejection to reveal the wisdom and beauty that lie beneath. Transformation unfolds gradually, like a flower slowly opening its petals to the light. Along this path, we may uncover hidden patterns of thought and behavior that have contributed to our suffering. We might recognize how societal messages about beauty, worthiness, or perfection have been internalized, shaping our self-image. Through mindful reflection and introspection, we can begin to release these conditioned patterns, replacing them with a more compassionate and realistic understanding of ourselves. Practical applications and daily practices. Several practical approaches can be integrated into daily life to work with skin conditions as spiritual invitations. Mindfulness meditation. Regular practice cultivates awareness of self-rejecting thoughts and emotions, allowing us to respond with compassion rather than judgment. Body scan practices. These foster a deeper connection with the physical body, encouraging acceptance of our skin and its current condition. Loving kindness meditation. Directing compassion inward helps heal the wounds of shame and rejection. Journaling. Writing about our experiences with skin conditions can reveal underlying emotional patterns needing attention. Gentle skincare routines. Caring for the skin with kindness supports the body's natural healing process and reinforces self-acceptance. Treating our skin with kindness and patience, eschewing harsh chemicals or aggressive treatments that may symbolize self-rejection, becomes a vital practice in nurturing both body and spirit. When approached consistently and with openness, these gentle rituals foster profound shifts not only in our relationship with our skin, but also in our overall sense of well-being and self-acceptance. The broader implications for spiritual growth. Engaging with skin conditions as spiritual mirrors offers lessons that transcend the physical symptoms themselves. It teaches us about the very nature of suffering, revealing how resistance to what is perpetuates pain. This process highlights the intricate interconnectedness of mind, body, and spirit, reminding us that true healing demands holistic attention to every facet of our being. Moreover, this work cultivates essential spiritual qualities: patience, compassion, mindfulness, and acceptance. As we learn to embrace our skin and ourselves exactly as we are, we develop the capacity to extend this same acceptance to all of life's experiences. We come to realize that our perceived flaws and imperfections are not barriers to enlightenment, but rather pathways toward it. Embracing the beauty of impermanence. Central to Buddhist teaching is the profound understanding of impermanence, that all things are in constant flux, including our physical condition. Skin that exhibits distress today will transform tomorrow, just as our thoughts and emotions continually shift. Embracing this impermanence allows us to approach skin conditions with less attachment and greater equanimity. Rather than fixating on clear skin as the ultimate goal, we can appreciate the beauty of our ever-changing form. We recognize that even in its most challenged state, our body is perfect in its imperfection. This perspective transforms our relationship with appearance, enabling us to find peace and contentment regardless of the condition of our skin. The collective dimension of skin and self-perception. Beyond the individual experience, skin conditions also reflect broader societal and collective patterns of self-rejection. In a culture that often prioritizes external appearance over inner wisdom, many struggle with body image and self-worth. Buddhist teachings invite us to question these cultural narratives and to cultivate a healthier relationship with our bodies, one grounded in respect, care, and acceptance, rather than objectification or criticism. By healing our personal relationship with our skin, we contribute to a larger cultural shift toward more compassionate and realistic standards of beauty and self-worth. Our individual journey of self-acceptance becomes part of a collective movement toward greater understanding and kindness. The path of radical self-love, ultimately, addressing skin conditions through a Buddhist lens, leads us toward a path of radical self-love, not the selfish or narcissistic kind, often misconstrued in contemporary culture, but a deep, unshakable acceptance of our inherent worthiness. It is the profound recognition that we are complete and whole exactly as we are, requiring no improvement or alteration to be worthy of love and respect. On this path, the skin, once a source of shame or discomfort, transforms into a teacher guiding us toward greater self-understanding and spiritual maturity. Healing our relationship with our skin mirrors the broader spiritual journey, where suffering is not feared or avoided, but embraced as a gateway to deeper truth and liberation. As we continue to explore the profound connections between body and soul, revealed through skin conditions, we discover that the path to clear skin and self-acceptance is paved with mindfulness, compassion, and the courage to embrace our true nature in all its beautiful complexity. Stomach disorders, digestion of life itself. The symbolic meaning of stomach disorders in Buddhist teachings. In Buddhist philosophy, the stomach is much more than a biological organ. It is regarded as the center where we process not only food, but the very experiences of life itself. Stomach disorders are thus profound metaphors reflecting how we digest life's challenges, emotions, and experiences. When digestion falters, it signals more than a physical issue. It reveals a spiritual struggle to metabolize our existence. Indigestion, ulcers, or chronic stomach pain represent various ways in which we fail to fully embrace and transform the events that shape our journey. The stomach, in this framework, is the starting point of transformation. Just as it breaks down food to nourish the body, it also processes life's experiences to extract wisdom and growth. When this function is impaired, it indicates that we have become stuck, unable to fully assimilate certain aspects of our path. Stomach as the seat of will and vitality. According to Buddhist thought, the abdomen houses the hara, the center of will and vitality. This foundational energy hub radiates our strength, courage, and capacity to engage with life fully. When stomach disorders arise, they signal that this core energy, the hara, the seat of will and vitality, is being compromised. This disruption can originate from various sources, such as unresolved fear or persistent anxiety about the future. Such mental states create tension in the stomach, obstructing the natural flow of energy. Similarly, regret and bitterness, holding on to past experiences that have not been fully emotionally digested, can manifest as chronic discomfort. An overall resistance to life, a reluctance to fully engage with present experiences, also often shows up as digestive issues. Each of these factors reflects ways in which we are not fully present with our lives, thereby hindering our capacity to process, integrate, and grow from life's experiences. The role of regret and fear in digestive health. Regret and fear are particularly corrosive to digestive well-being because they represent a fundamental misalignment with the present moment. Regret anchors us in the past, forcing us to replay unchangeable events repeatedly, while fear projects us anxiously into an uncertain future that may never arrive. Both mental states prevent us from being fully present here and now, a presence essential for healthy digestion. When consumed by regret, we attempt to digest the past endlessly, without resolution, creating internal agitation that manifests physically as stomach discomfort. Fear, similarly, introduces tension and tightness in the abdominal area, disrupting the body's natural digestive processes. The body mirrors the mind. When the mind is ensnared by fear or regret, the stomach inevitably pays the price. The Buddhist perspective on processing life. Experiences Buddhism offers a holistic approach to processing life's experiences that supports both spiritual growth and physical well-being, mindful engagement, fully inhabiting each moment as it arises, without immediate judgment or resistance. Acceptance of impermanence, recognizing that all experiences are transient and clinging to them only intensifies suffering. Compassionate reflection, looking back on past experiences with kindness, extracting wisdom without guilt or shame. Letting go, releasing attachments to outcomes and allowing experiences to flow through us rather than becoming stuck. By adopting these practices, we transform our relationship with life's food, ensuring that we digest experiences in ways that nourish rather than deplete us. The healing power of gratitude and presence. Gratitude stands as a potent remedy for digestive ailments. When we cultivate gratitude, we acknowledge the richness of our lives and the countless ways we are supported. This shift moves our attention from scarcity and lack to abundance and presence, creating fertile ground for healing. Presence, too, plays a critical role. By bringing full awareness to the simple act of eating, we honor both the food and our bodies, thereby enhancing digestion. This mindful eating practice extends naturally into how we engage with all of life's experiences. When fully present, we are better equipped to receive and process what life offers without resistance or excessive attachment. The journey of self-discovery and transformation, healing. Stomach disorders from a spiritual perspective is a journey inward to identify the ways we are not fully digesting life. This process often reveals patterns of emotional avoidance, over-identification with particular experiences, or deeply ingrained beliefs about unworthiness or scarcity that affect how we receive life's nourishment. Through introspection, meditation, and sometimes guidance from a spiritual mentor, individuals can uncover and begin to transform these patterns. Although this journey demands honesty and courage, it ultimately leads to greater integration and well-being. Practical applications and daily practices. Several practices can be woven into daily life to support healing and improve digestion of life experiences. Mindful eating, eating slowly, chewing thoroughly, and savoring each bite to enhance digestive function and presence. Gratitude, journaling, regularly recording aspects of life to foster a mindset of abundance. Breathwork and meditation, using focused breathing techniques to calm the nervous system and support digestive health, movement. Practices, gentle exercises such as yoga or Tai Chi to release abdominal tension, reflective. Questions, daily inquiry into what experiences are difficult to digest and how to approach them with openness. These practices create a solid foundation for healing and transformation when integrated consistently. Broader implications for spiritual growth. Viewing stomach disorders as spiritual invitations offers lessons that transcend physical health. It teaches the importance of presence, the influence of mental states on bodily well-being, and the necessity of processing life's experiences with wisdom and compassion. Additionally, this work fosters resilience, not mere endurance, but a flexible, adaptive strength. Learning to digest life's challenges without becoming overwhelmed equips us to face whatever arises with grace and equanimity. Embracing the beauty of impermanence in digestion. Understanding that both our experiences and physical states are impermanent profoundly transforms how we approach stomach disorders. Just as the stomach processes and eventually eliminates food, so too can we trust that difficult experiences will pass. This awareness cultivates less fear and greater equanimity toward digestive discomfort, allowing us to respond with acceptance rather than resistance. Recognizing impermanence as an intrinsic part of life's natural rhythm rather than a permanent state fosters a deeper sense of peace. Embracing this impermanence also allows us to appreciate the transient nature of pleasure and comfort. A meal that is fully savored and then released perfectly mirrors the Buddhist ideal of engagement without attachment. The collective dimension of digestion and life processing. On a broader societal level, stomach disorders can reflect collective patterns of consumption and digestion. In cultures that emphasize constant productivity and busyness, there is often little space for mindful processing of experiences. This collective rush contributes to widespread digestive ailments, mirroring a societal inability to fully metabolize and learn from shared experiences. By healing our personal relationship with digestion, we participate in a wider cultural shift toward more mindful and integrated ways of living. Our individual journey toward digestive health becomes a vital part of a collective movement toward greater balance and wisdom. The path of embracing life's nourishment. Ultimately, addressing stomach disorders through a Buddhist lens guides us toward embracing life's nourishment in all its forms. This path is not about passive acceptance, but about active, mindful engagement, viewing every experience as an opportunity for growth. The stomach, once a source of distress, transforms into a wise teacher guiding us toward deeper presence and vitality. On this journey, we learn to trust our body's innate wisdom and respond to its signals with compassion and curiosity. We come to realize that even the most challenging experiences can be fully digested and transformed into sources of strength and insight. The path to digestive health mirrors the broader spiritual journey, where suffering is met not with resistance, but with openness and understanding, allowing us to fully embrace the nourishment of life in all its dimensions. Breathing difficulties, suppressed grief, and unlived truths. The symbolic meaning of breathing difficulties within the rich landscape of Buddhist teachings. Breathing difficulties are profound metaphors for suppressed emotions and unexpressed truths. The breath serves as the vital bridge between body and spirit, the rhythmic connection linking our physical existence to our deeper spiritual essence. When breathing becomes shallow, restricted, or labored, it signals not merely a physiological concern, but a spiritual alert. We are disconnecting from vital parts of our lived experience. Breathing difficulties may manifest as asthma, shortness of breath, or chronic coughing, each illustrating different ways we struggle to embrace and express our truth fully. These physical symptoms are manifestations of emotional and spiritual constriction, indicating that within, we may be holding back or failing to honor our authentic voice. Breath as the bridge between body and spirit. Buddhist philosophy places immense emphasis on the breath as a fundamental element of spiritual practice. It is regarded as a direct link to life force or prana, central to meditation and mindfulness. The breath embodies the continuous flow of life, connecting us to the present moment and our deeper spiritual nature. When breathing difficulties arise, they disrupt this essential connection, creating a sense of separation and imbalance. This disruption is deeply meaningful, reflecting an inner state of constriction and resistance. The breath in these moments becomes a physical expression of spiritual disconnection, an urgent call to attention and restoration. The role of suppressed grief in breathing issues. Grief, especially when unexpressed or suppressed, plays a significant role in breathing difficulties. Buddhism views grief not simply as sadness over loss, but as a profound response to life's many transitions and separations. When grief is denied expression, it becomes trapped within the body, creating tension in the chest and restricting breath flow. This suppression often stems from cultural conditioning that equates grief with weakness, or from personal fears of vulnerability. However, Buddhism teaches that grief is a natural and necessary response to loss, one that must be honored and allowed full expression for genuine healing to occur. Denying grief, in essence, denies ourselves the freedom to breathe fully and freely. unlived truths, and the constriction of breath. Beyond suppressed grief, breathing difficulties can arise from unspoken truths and fears of authenticity. The throat, closely connected to the lungs and respiratory system, is considered the center of expression and truth. When we withhold our voice, whether due to fear, obligation, or self-doubt, the energy of these unspoken words creates constriction in the throat and chest. This physical tightness restricts breath and reflects the dissonance between internal feelings and external expression. The breath becomes shallow as we hold back our voice, initiating a cycle of limitation and suffering. The Buddhist perspective on breath and liberation. Buddhism offers a profound approach to addressing breathing difficulties through cultivating awareness and presence. The mindfulness of breath, a cornerstone of Buddhist meditation, invites us to observe our breathing impartially, becoming intimately aware of its rhythm and quality. Through this practice, we begin to uncover the emotional and spiritual patterns that limit our breath. Liberation, in this context, is not about forcing change, but about creating conditions for natural, free breathing to re-emerge. By compassionately facing suppressed grief and unspoken truths, we can release the energetic constrictions manifesting as breathing difficulties. This healing process involves creating safe spaces for expression, whether through journaling, creative outlets, or trusted dialogue. Cultivating authenticity by encouraging ourselves to speak truth with kindness and courage, even when uncomfortable. Engaging in body awareness, practices such as yoga or somatic experiencing, to release tension in the chest and throat. The healing power of breathwork and mindfulness. Breathwork stands as a powerful tool for healing breathing difficulties from a Buddhist perspective. By consciously directing our attention to the breath and gently altering its rhythm, we influence both our physical and emotional states. Techniques such as deep diaphragmatic breathing, engaging the diaphragm fully to increase oxygen flow and release tension, help restore balance. Alternate nostril breathing supports nervous system equilibrium and fosters calm integration. Loving-kindness meditation, metta, where compassion is directed toward ourselves and our breath, assists in releasing judgments and restrictions. These practices collaboratively restore the natural flow of breath, allowing us to reconnect deeply with our spiritual essence and experience a greater sense of freedom. The journey of self-discovery and transformation. Healing. Breathing difficulties as spiritual invitations involves an inward journey to uncover the ways we suppress our truth or hold back grief. This exploration often reveals patterns of avoiding difficult emotions through busyness or distraction, deep-rooted fears of vulnerability and rejection, and unspoken truths, yearning for acknowledgement and expression. Through introspection, meditation, and at times guidance from a spiritual mentor, individuals can begin to recognize and transform these patterns. Though this process demands patience and self-compassion, it leads to a deeper sense of authenticity and holistic well-being. Practical applications and daily practices. Several practical tools can be woven into daily life to support the healing of breathing difficulties and the restoration of natural breath flow. Mindful breathing practices, setting aside time daily for focused breathing exercises to cultivate awareness and release tension. Expressive writing, journaling to bring unspoken truths and suppressed emotions into conscious awareness. Creative expression, utilizing art, music, or movement to convey what words cannot, facilitating emotional release. Bodywork and yoga, engaging in practices targeting chest and throat tension to ease physical constriction. Nature immersion, spending time in natural environments where breath can expand and the spirit can feel free. When practiced consistently with openness, these methods foster profound shifts in breathing patterns and overall spiritual well-being. The broader implications for spiritual growth. Working with breathing difficulties as spiritual invitations extends far beyond physical health. It teaches the importance of honoring our emotions and expressing our truth as vital components of spiritual evolution. This practice reveals the profound interconnectedness of physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Furthermore, this journey cultivates authenticity. As we learn to live in alignment with our truth, we build integrity and presence, foundations that enhance all facets of life. This authenticity enables us to forge genuine relationships and engage with the world from a place of wholeness, embracing the impermanence of breath, recognizing that both breath and emotions are impermanent, transforms our approach to breathing difficulties. Like the natural cycles of inhalation and exhalation, our emotional states ebb and flow. By embracing this impermanence, we reduce fear and increase trust in the body's innate wisdom. We come to understand that moments of breathlessness are temporary opportunities to practice patience and presence. Surrendering to the breath's natural rhythm mirrors the Buddhist ideal of flowing harmoniously with life's unfolding. The collective dimension of breath and expression. On a societal level, breathing difficulties often reflect cultural patterns of suppressed emotion and restricted self-expression. In cultures prioritizing stoicism or relentless productivity, there's often limited space for authentic expression or grief work. This collective repression contributes to widespread respiratory ailments, mirroring a societal inability to fully express and process shared emotions. By healing our individual relationship with breath and authentic expression, we contribute to a broader cultural shift toward openness and emotional literacy. Our personal journey toward respiratory health becomes part of a collective movement toward expressive freedom and emotional well-being. The path of authenticity and presence. Ultimately, addressing breathing difficulties through a Buddhist framework leads us to a path of authenticity and presence. This path encourages us to honor our emotions and speak our truth without fear or judgment. The breath, once a source of struggle, transforms into a teacher guiding us toward greater openness and connection. Along this path, we learn to trust the breath's natural rhythm and respond to its signals with compassion and curiosity. We discover that even the most challenging breathing moments can become gateways to deeper presence and genuine authenticity. Weight imbalance, protection and fear. The symbolic meaning of weight imbalance in Buddhist teachings, weight imbalance, whether manifesting as excess weight or extreme thinness, is a profound metaphor for our relationship with fear and protection. The body, in its infinite wisdom, often responds to emotional and spiritual needs by altering its physical form. Carrying extra weight may symbolize an unconscious effort to create a protective buffer against emotional vulnerability or external threats. Conversely, extreme thinness can reflect a rejection of the physical self or a fear of occupying space in the world. Weight imbalance is far more than a matter of calories and metabolism. It represents a complex interplay of emotional, spiritual, and physical factors. It stands as a tangible manifestation of our inner dialogue concerning safety, worthiness, and control. By exploring this symbolism, we begin to understand how weight issues are intricately tied to deeper patterns of thought and behavior that warrant attention and compassionate care. Weight as a shield. The psychology of protection. From a psychological perspective, carrying excess weight can serve as an unconscious strategy to protect ourselves from emotional pain or physical harm. This defense mechanism often originates from past experiences marked by vulnerability or insecurity. The additional weight acts as a form of armor, a physical barrier believed to shield us from rejection, criticism, or other emotional distress. This protective shell transcends physical safety, extending into deeper insecurities. For example, individuals who have experienced trauma may subconsciously use weight as a way to appear less attractive or noticeable, reducing the likelihood of unwanted attention. Similarly, those who fear intimacy might use their weight as a boundary to keep others at a distance, guarding themselves against the potential pain of close relationships. Fear of rejection and emotional vulnerability. Fear of rejection is a powerful force shaping our relationship with our bodies. This fear may drive us to alter our appearance either to gain acceptance or to avoid situations where rejection could occur. For some, this manifests as weight loss to conform to societal ideals of beauty. For others, it results in weight gain as a means to avoid vulnerability and being seen or judged. Within Buddhist thought, this fear represents an attachment to external validation. We become entangled in the belief that our worth depends on others' perceptions, placing our sense of self outside ourselves, and consequently, fostering suffering. True liberation comes from grounding our worth in our inherent Buddha nature, independent of external approval. Extreme thinness and the fear of taking up space. At the opposite end of the spectrum, extreme thinness may signal a deep-seated fear of occupying space in the world. This fear may stem from feelings of unworthiness or the belief that we do not deserve presence in the lives of others. Additionally, cultural environments that highly prize thinness may compel individuals to push their bodies to extremes in pursuit of acceptance. This rejection of the physical self constitutes a form of spiritual disconnection. By denying our bodies the nourishment they require, we reject not only our physical existence but also the present moment. Buddhism teaches that authentic spiritual growth arises from embracing all aspects of ourselves, including our physical form, rather than rejecting or punishing it. The Buddhist perspective on balance and self-compassion. Buddhism offers a compassionate, balanced approach to addressing weight imbalance, one centered on self-acceptance rather than judgment or restriction. Key principles include non-judgmental awareness, observing our relationship with food, body image, and emotions without criticism. This awareness initiates understanding of the roots of imbalance. Self-compassion, treating ourselves with the kindness and understanding we would extend to a dear friend. This involves releasing self-punishment and recognizing that our worth is independent of appearance. Mindful eating, bringing full attention to the act of eating, savoring each bite, and tuning into the body's signals of hunger and fullness. This fosters a healthier relationship with food. Releasing fear and control, recognizing that attempts to control weight through restriction or overindulgence often arise from fear. By addressing these fears directly, we can begin to relinquish our need for control. Embracing the body as a sacred vessel, viewing the body not as an adversary or object for perfection, but as a sacred vessel deserving of care and respect. This shift in perspective profoundly transforms our approach to health and weight. The healing power of self-acceptance and compassion. Healing weight imbalance begins with self-acceptance, not complacency, but a commitment to approach our bodies with curiosity and compassion. Accepting our current state lays the foundation for natural, positive change. Self-compassion emerges as a potent healing tool. It entails acknowledging suffering, recognizing the pain and challenges associated with weight imbalance without judgment. Common humanity. Understanding that struggles with body image and weight are universal, reminding us that we are not alone in our experience. Mindful response. Responding to our struggles with kindness rather than criticism or punishment. Through self-compassion, we gradually release emotional burdens contributing to weight imbalance and foster a balanced, healthier relationship with our bodies. The journey of self-discovery and transformation. Healing weight imbalance involves an inward journey to uncover specific fears, beliefs, and emotions shaping our relationship with our bodies. This exploration may reveal past traumas or experiences of vulnerability that triggered the use of weight as protection, cultural and familial messages that have been internalized regarding body image, worthiness, and appearance. Emotional eating patterns used to soothe or numb difficult feelings. Fear of vulnerability, intimacy, or authenticity stemming from anticipated rejection or judgment. Through introspection, therapy, meditation, and sometimes creative expression, individuals can identify and transform these patterns. Though this process requires patience and self-compassion, it ultimately fosters integration and well-being. Practical applications and daily practices to support healing and cultivate a healthier body relationship. Several practical steps can be incorporated into daily life. Mindful awareness of eating and body sensations, regular self-compassion exercises and affirmations, journaling to explore emotional triggers related to weight, engaging in gentle movement practices that honor the body, seeking supportive therapy or spiritual guidance as needed. Several practical approaches can be seamlessly integrated into daily life to nurture a healthier relationship with our bodies. Mindful eating practices, slowing down to eat deliberately, chewing thoroughly, and savoring each bite not only enhances the eating experience but also improves digestion. Body scan meditation. Regularly engaging in body scan practices cultivates non-judgmental awareness of physical sensations, deepening our connection with the body. Compassionate self-talk, replacing critical inner dialogue with kind, encouraging words, particularly when confronting body image challenges. Nourishing movement, participating in physical activities that feel pleasurable and honor the body, shifting away from exercise solely as a tool for altering appearance. Journaling, writing about emotions, eating habits, and body image concerns to gain insights into personal patterns and triggers. Seeking support, connecting with others who understand the challenges of weight imbalance, whether through support groups or therapeutic avenues. When approached consistently and with openness, these practices can catalyze profound shifts in our relationship with our bodies and support the ongoing journey toward balance and self-acceptance. The broader implications for spiritual growth. Viewing weight imbalance as a spiritual invitation opens profound lessons that transcend physical health. It teaches us about the nature of fear, the pervasive impact of self-judgment, and the transformative power of self-compassion. Addressing these deeper dimensions cultivates essential qualities for spiritual growth. Letting go of control, releasing our fixation on controlling our bodies and appearances, recognizing that true freedom arises from within. Embracing vulnerability, understanding vulnerability not as weakness but as a path to authentic connection and healing. Cultivating inner strength, developing resilience and self-worth that stand independent of external validation. Living in the present moment, fully engaging with life as it unfolds, rather than striving endlessly toward an idealized future self. These lessons not only transform how we relate to our bodies, but also how we interact with others and the world at large. Embracing the beauty of impermanence in body image. Understanding that our bodies, like all phenomena, are impermanent shifts our approach to weight imbalance. Much like the changing seasons, our physical form naturally undergoes cycles of transformation throughout life. By embracing this impermanence, we can meet fluctuations in weight with less fear and greater acceptance. This perspective encourages us to appreciate the beauty of our bodies in their present state, rather than perpetually seeking change. It reinforces that our worth is rooted not in appearance, but in our inherent spiritual essence. The collective dimension of body image and fear. On a societal scale, weight imbalance reflects broader patterns of fear and disconnection from the body. In cultures that valorize thinness or muscularity as ideals of beauty, many individuals struggle with body dissatisfaction and diminished self-worth. These cultural narratives propagate widespread discontent, mirroring a collective fear of vulnerability and rejection. By healing our personal relationship with body image and weight, we contribute to a larger cultural movement toward compassionate and realistic standards of beauty and self-worth. Our individual journey becomes a vital thread in the fabric of collective body positivity and self-compassion, the path of radical self-acceptance. Ultimately, addressing weight imbalance through a Buddhist lens guides us toward radical self-acceptance. This path invites us to embrace our bodies exactly as they are, with all perceived flaws and imperfections. It is a commitment to treating ourselves with the same kindness and care that we would extend to a beloved friend. Along this path, we come to see our bodies not as obstacles, but as sacred vessels carrying us through life's journey. True freedom arises not from conforming to external standards, but from releasing attachment to validation and resting in our inherent worthiness. The journey toward body acceptance parallels the broader spiritual awakening, learning to embrace all aspects of our experience with openness and understanding. By honoring our bodies with compassion and care, we create fertile ground for genuine healing and transformation, empowering us to live fully and authentically in the present moment. 6. Headaches and pressure in the skull. Overthinking and disconnection from the present. The symbolic meaning of headaches in Buddhist teachings. Headaches and cranial pressure are profound metaphors within Buddhist thought, representing the burdens of an overactive mind and disconnection from the present moment. The head, as the seat of consciousness and thought, reflects our mental landscape and our relationship to our inner world. When headaches occur, they are not mere biological events but spiritual signals indicating that our mental patterns contribute to our suffering. Whether tension headaches, migraines, or persistent pressure, these conditions manifest the turmoil of a mind trapped in cycles of overthinking, worry, and self-judgment. The overthinking mind and its impact on the body Buddhist philosophy identifies overthinking as a primary source of suffering. This mental state involves becoming ensnared in an incessant wheel of thoughts, ruminating on the past, anticipating the future, and perpetually evaluating our experiences. This relentless mental activity generates tension, especially in the head and neck, producing headaches and physical discomfort. Such tension transcends the physical. It reflects a profound spiritual disconnection. When lost in overthinking, we exist more in a conceptual world of ideas than in the reality of the present moment. This disconnection fractures our sense of wholeness and peace, manifesting as physical unease. The role of judgment and comparison's headaches can also stem from habitual patterns of judgment and comparison. In cultures that prize achievement and success, it is easy to fall into the trap of constantly measuring ourselves against others or against idealized versions of ourselves. This comparison creates a pervasive sense of inadequacy, a feeling of falling short or simply not being enough, which generates significant mental and emotional tension. This tension can manifest physically as headaches. Buddhism teaches that judgment and comparison are forms of attachment to rigid ideas about ourselves and others. Such attachments breed suffering because they overlook the impermanence of all things and disregard the unique path each individual walks. When we judge ourselves harshly or compare ourselves to others, we are essentially rejecting our present moment experience and creating internal conflict. The Buddhist perspective on presence and stillness. Buddhism offers a profound alternative to the cycle of overthinking through the cultivation of presence and stillness. Mindfulness meditation invites us to bring our awareness fully into the present moment, observing our thoughts without becoming entangled in them. This practice creates a vital space between our thoughts and our reactions, helping to break the relentless cycle of overthinking. Stillness is another essential concept. By quieting the mind through meditation or simply pausing amidst daily activities, we can access a peace that is not dependent on external conditions. This stillness reconnects us with our spiritual essence and facilitates the release of tension that contributes to headaches. The healing power of mindfulness and letting go. Healing headaches from a Buddhist perspective begins with mindfulness, becoming aware of our thought patterns and the physical sensations accompanying headaches. This heightened awareness helps us recognize when we are caught in overthinking or disconnected from the present moment, enabling us to gently redirect our attention. Letting go is equally crucial. It involves releasing attachment to thoughts and judgments, understanding that they are transient and do not define us. By relinquishing the need to control or fix every situation, we reduce mental tension, the very tension that exacerbates headaches. This practice of letting go is not passive resignation, but an active release of what no longer serves us, making room to be fully present. The journey of self-discovery and transformation. Healing headaches as spiritual invitations is an inward journey to uncover the specific ways we become disconnected from the present moment. This exploration may reveal patterns such as rumination on past events, anxieties about the future, deeply ingrained beliefs about self-worth tied to achievement or comparison, or a compulsive need for mental stimulation to avoid discomfort. Through introspection, meditation, and sometimes therapy, individuals can identify and begin to transform these patterns. Although this process demands patience and self-compassion, it ultimately fosters a profound sense of peace and presence. Practical applications and daily practices. Several practical approaches can be woven into daily life to support headache healing and cultivate deeper presence. Mindfulness meditation. Regular practice to develop non-judgmental awareness of thoughts and physical sensations. Body scan. Practices using meditation to release tension in the head, neck, and shoulders. Breath work, focused breathing exercises to calm the nervous system and quiet mental chatter. Nature immersion, spending time in natural environments to soothe the mind and reconnect with the present. Journaling, writing to explore thought patterns and headache triggers for greater insight. Digital detox, taking deliberate breaks from screens to reduce mental overstimulation and foster presence. Seeking support, connecting with communities or professionals who understand overthinking and disconnection. When practiced with consistency and openness, these methods can profoundly transform our relationship with the mind and support the journey toward healing. The broader implications for spiritual growth. Approaching headaches as spiritual invitations extends far beyond addressing physical symptoms. It teaches us about the mind's nature, the burdens of overthinking, and the vital importance of cultivating presence. Addressing these deeper dimensions nurtures qualities essential to spiritual growth, cultivating equanimity, developing balanced responses to life's fluctuations rather than reacting with mental turmoil or emotional upheaval, embracing impermanence, recognizing that thoughts and mental states, like all phenomena, are transient and ever-changing. Releasing attachment to thoughts, understanding that thoughts are not absolute truths, and we have the freedom to choose how we relate to them. These lessons reshape not only our internal relationship with the mind, but also influence how we engage with others and the world. Embracing the beauty of a quiet mind, recognizing that a quiet mind is not a forced state, but a natural expression of presence can transform how we relate to headaches. Just as a lake's surface becomes still when undisturbed, our minds find clarity and ease when freed from incessant thoughts and judgments. By welcoming moments of stillness and silence, we allow our minds to return to their natural state of peace. This outlook also helps us appreciate simplicity and the richness of the present moment. A mind freed from overthinking can fully experience life as it unfolds, unfiltered by constant analysis. The collective dimension of overthinking and disconnection. On a societal scale, headaches often reflect collective patterns of overthinking and disconnection from the present. In cultures that valorize constant productivity and mental activity, there is typically scant space for stillness or reflection. This collective busyness contributes to widespread mental tension and headaches, mirroring a societal estrangement from living fully in the now. By healing our personal relationship with the mind and cultivating presence, we play a role in a broader cultural shift toward more mindful, balanced ways of living. Our individual journey toward mental well-being becomes a part of a collective movement toward awareness and peace, the path of presence and inner peace. Ultimately, addressing headaches through a Buddhist lens guides us toward presence and inner peace. This path invites us to honor our minds by granting them the space needed for rest and healing. It is a commitment to cultivating awareness, releasing overthinking, and embracing the present moment as it is. On this path, we learn to see our thoughts not as enemies to be eliminated, but as passing clouds drifting across the vast sky of our awareness. We develop the capacity to observe these thoughts without becoming entangled, allowing us to experience greater freedom and clarity. The journey toward mental well-being mirrors the larger spiritual awakening, where we embrace all aspects of our experience with openness and understanding. This enables us to live more fully and authentically in the present moment. 7. Fatigue, spiritual resistance, and the call to align with purpose. The symbolic meaning of fatigue. Within the profound landscape of Buddhist teachings, fatigue emerges as a powerful metaphor for spiritual resistance and misalignment with one's true purpose. It reflects the body and soul's response to living in disconnection from our authentic path. When fatigue becomes a constant companion, it signals more than mere physical exhaustion. It is a spiritual alarm, indicating that we are expending energy in ways that do not nourish our deepest essence. Fatigue may manifest as persistent tiredness, lack of motivation, or a pervasive sense of heaviness that seeps into every aspect of life. These symptoms represent physical expressions of a deeper spiritual dissonance, evidence that somewhere along the way we have diverged from a path resonant with our true nature. Spiritual resistance and its impact on energy. Spiritual resistance arises when we cling to patterns, beliefs, or lifestyles that do not honor our authentic selves. It is the energy expended avoiding truths about who we are or pursuing goals misaligned with our deeper values and purpose. This resistance drains our vital energy, leaving us perpetually fatigued and disconnected. Common forms of spiritual resistance include living according to others' expectations rather than what truly fulfills us, fear of change, which keeps us from necessary transformation, suppressing authentic desires in favor of socially acceptable alternatives, carrying unresolved emotional burdens from past traumas or hurts. Each form contributes to chronic fatigue by diverting energy from well-being toward maintaining resistance. The role of misaligned purpose. Central to Buddhist teachings is the concept of dharma, one's true purpose and path. When we are misaligned with our dharma, vitality wanes and direction fades. Fatigue here is the body's signal that we are not engaged in activities or lifestyles that honor our unique spiritual journey. This misalignment may stem from chasing external validation, success, or recognition at the expense of internal fulfillment, ignoring inner wisdom and intuitive guidance in favor of societal or logical dictates, fear of authentic self-expression due to judgment or failure, living disconnected from the present, lost in rumination or worry. Such misalignment widens the gap between our daily actions and our soul's calling, fostering persistent tiredness and dissatisfaction. The Buddhist perspective on energy and vitality. Buddhism presents a holistic view of energy, prana, as a vital force flowing through body, mind, and spirit. When this flow is unobstructed, we naturally experience vitality and well-being. Conversely, blockages or diversion of energy into resistant patterns result in chronic fatigue. Key principles to cultivate energy and vitality include mindfulness of energy, developing awareness of how thoughts, emotions, and actions nourish or deplete our energy. Alignment with dharma, actively engaging in pursuits that reflect our true purpose and values. Release of resistance, letting go of patterns and beliefs that drain energy and hinder authenticity. Cultivation of joy, embracing practices that bring joy and lightness, as joy naturally arises from aligned living. Applying these principles helps restore natural vitality and dispel the heaviness of fatigue. The healing power of alignment and surrender. Healing fatigue from a spiritual lens begins with realignment and surrender. Realignment involves identifying and committing to activities, relationships, and goals resonant with our true nature. This may call for significant life changes or subtle shifts in daily habits to reflect our values more authentically. Surrender means releasing attachments to how life should be and opening to the present moment's unfolding. It requires trusting the path as it reveals itself, allowing resistant energy to dissolve and energy to redirect toward what truly matters. This surrender is not passivity, but an empowered redirection of our vital forces, the journey of self-discovery and transformation. Healing fatigue, as a spiritual invitation, involves an inward journey to uncover the specific ways we resist our true path. This process may reveal deeply held beliefs about worthiness and success that conflict with our authentic desires, fear-based decisions, shaping life choices that limit potential, unresolved emotional wounds that drain energy and divert us from purpose, and a disconnection from practices that nourish the spirit, such as meditation, creative expression, or time in nature. Through introspection, therapy, meditation, and creative exploration, individuals can identify these patterns and begin to transform them. Though this journey requires honesty and courage, it leads to a renewed sense of vitality and aligned purpose. Practical applications and daily practices. Several practical approaches support the healing of fatigue and foster greater alignment with one's purpose. Mindful energy. Audit. Regular reflection on activities and thoughts that either drain or replenish energy. Adjusting lifestyle accordingly. Meditation and contemplation. Practices that clarify purpose and release resistant energy, including mindfulness meditation and journaling. Small acts of alignment, committing to daily actions that resonate with personal values and passions. Body awareness practices, using yoga, tai chi, or body scan meditation to release physical tension and unblock energy. Nature connection. Spending time outdoors to reconnect with peace and vitality. Seeking mentorship, engaging with spiritual teachers or mentors for guidance and support. When practiced with consistency and openness, these methods can profoundly elevate energy levels and overall well-being. The broader implications for spiritual growth. Viewing fatigue as a spiritual invitation offers lessons beyond physical health. It reveals the nature of resistance, underscores the importance of purpose, and highlights the interconnectedness of body, mind, and spirit. By addressing these deeper dimensions, we cultivate essential qualities for spiritual growth, cultivating awareness, deepening understanding of how energy is spent, and how alignment impacts vitality. Embracing change, developing flexibility and openness to necessary transformations, honoring the authentic self, prioritizing true nature over external expectations and validation, living with intention, making conscious choices that reflect core values and purpose. These lessons transform not only our relationship with energy, but also our interactions with the world and others, embracing the beauty of aligned living. Recognizing that vitality naturally arises from aligned living can revolutionize how fatigue is perceived. When engaged in one's true purpose, life flows more smoothly and with less struggle. Energy is directed toward nourishing activities, fostering lightness and ease. This perspective also encourages appreciation of one's unique path. Aligned living is not about conforming to external ideals, but about honoring individual journeys and contributions. It allows one to experience the profound joy of being fully oneself. The collective dimension of fatigue and alignment on a collective scale. Fatigue often mirrors societal patterns of misalignment and disconnection from purpose. In cultures emphasizing productivity, achievement, and external success, many experience a disconnect between their work and deeper values. This widespread misalignment contributes to fatigue and disengagement, reflecting societal neglect of spiritual dimensions. By healing personal relationships with fatigue and cultivating alignment, individuals contribute to a broader cultural shift toward more meaningful and fulfilling ways of living. Personal vitality journeys thus become part of a collective movement toward purpose and presence. The path of aligned vitality. Ultimately, addressing fatigue through a Buddhist lens guides one toward a path of aligned vitality. This path invites honoring one's energy by focusing it on what truly matters. It is a commitment to living in harmony with deepest values and purpose. Along this path, fatigue is not an inevitability, but a guidepost signaling the need for realignment. One learns to recognize when straying from the path and gently course correct, preserving energy for what nourishes the soul. This journey toward aligned living mirrors the broader spiritual awakening, embracing all aspects of experience with openness and understanding, enabling more authentic and fulfilling living in each moment. 8. Fighting the karma of ignorance. When we refuse to listen. The symbolic meaning of ignorance in Buddhist teachings. In Buddhist philosophy, ignorance is not merely the absence of knowledge, but a profound misunderstanding of reality that leads to suffering. It represents the failure to recognize our interconnectedness with all life and our true nature as impermanent, selfless beings. This ignorance is the root cause of all karmic suffering, as it creates the illusion of separation that fuels craving and aversion. When we refuse to listen to the wisdom of our bodies and the signals of our spiritual condition, we embody this ignorance. The body, acting as the bell of awakening, sends signals through discomfort and illness to invite attention and realignment with truth. Ignoring these signals reinforces karmic patterns of ignorance, perpetuating the cycle of suffering. How ignorance manifests in our lives. Ignorance manifests in numerous ways that keep us disconnected from our true nature and spiritual path. Denial of physical signals. Ignoring the body's messages about fatigue, discomfort, or stress. Pushing through rather than listening. Avoidance of emotional truths. Suppressing or distracting ourselves from difficult emotions instead of facing them with compassion. Rejection of spiritual practices. Dismissing meditation, mindfulness, or other practices that could deepen awareness and connection. Adherence to false narratives, clinging to beliefs about ourselves and the world rooted in fear, separation, and lack rather than truth. Resistance to change, holding tightly to familiar patterns and identities, even when they cause suffering. Each of these manifestations reinforces the karmic momentum of ignorance, perpetuating cycles of suffering throughout our lives. The physical and spiritual consequences of ignorance. The consequences of spiritual ignorance are profound and multifaceted. Physical deterioration, chronic illness, pain, and fatigue become normalized as the body's signals are ignored. Emotional disconnection, a growing sense of numbness or alienation from our authentic emotional experience. Spiritual stagnation, feeling stuck or disconnected from any deeper sense of purpose or meaning. Relationship strain, difficulty forming authentic connections due to barriers created by fear and misunderstanding. Existential suffering, a pervasive sense of meaninglessness or dissatisfaction underlying much of human experience. These outcomes are not punishments, but natural results of living in alignment with ignorance rather than truth. The Buddhist path to overcoming ignorance. Buddhism offers a comprehensive path to transcend ignorance and awaken to our true nature through cultivation of wisdom, prajna, through study, reflection, and meditation, developing insight to perceive reality free from delusion, mindfulness, and present moment awareness, bringing full attention to each experience to dismantle the illusion of separation. Compassion practices. Cultivating loving kindness to recognize interconnectedness with all beings. Ethical living, sila. Aligning actions with principles that honor the dignity and interconnection of life. Meditation and contemplative practices. Creating space for direct experience beyond the mind's constructs. Together, these practices gradually dissolve ignorance's barriers and reveal our inherent Buddha nature. The healing power of awakening. Awakening from ignorance is a gradual deepening of awareness, not a single event. As we recognize patterns of ignorance and choose differently, transformation ripples through all aspects of being. Physical healing. The body responds with increased vitality and balance when honored. Emotional release. Suppressed emotions find expression, making space for authenticity. Spiritual growth. Connection to something greater than ourselves deepens, fostering peace and purpose. Relationship transformation. We cultivate more authentic, compassionate connections. Existential liberation. The sense of separation dissolves, revealing wholeness and interconnectedness. This awakening is not about perfection, but continual engagement with the truth of experience. The journey of self-discovery and transformation. The path from ignorance to awakening requires courage and compassion through recognizing patterns of ignorance, bringing mindful awareness to avoidance and delusion, embracing difficult truths, confronting denied or rejected aspects of self and life, releasing attachments, letting go of narratives and identities that no longer serve growth, cultivating new practices, integrating mindfulness, meditation, and ethical living into daily life, seeking guidance, connecting with teachers, communities, or traditions, supporting awakening. This deeply personal yet universal journey invites participation in the collective project of spiritual growth. Practical applications and daily practices. Several practices support the journey from ignorance to awakening. Mindfulness meditation, regularly cultivating awareness of thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations without judgment. Body scan practices, engaging with the body to recognize and release tension born from ignorance and resistance. Reflective journaling, writing about experiences of ignorance and awakening to gain clarity and insight. Compassion practices, developing loving kindness for oneself and others through meditation and daily interactions. Ethical commitments, making conscious choices aligned with non-harming and interconnectedness principles. Nature immersion, spending time in natural settings to foster presence and connectedness. When embraced with openness and consistency, these practices facilitate profound transformation and liberation. Spending time in natural settings reconnects us with the present moment and our place within the larger web of life. Study and reflection, engaging with Buddhist teachings and other wisdom traditions, further deepen this understanding. When approached with consistency and openness, these practices gradually unravel ignorance and allow awakening to emerge. The broader implications for spiritual growth. Working with ignorance as a spiritual invitation offers profound lessons that extend beyond personal transformation. Cultivating wisdom, developing the ability to see through illusions that cause suffering. Embracing interdependence, recognizing how our well-being is inseparable from that of all beings. Living ethically, making choices informed by an understanding of cause and effect, honoring our impact on others. Contributing to collective awakening, understanding that personal growth fuels societal shifts toward compassion and wisdom. These lessons form the foundation for living with integrity and purpose. Embracing the beauty of awakening. Awakening from ignorance reveals the profound beauty of reality as it is, impermanent, interconnected, and ripe with potential for growth. This perspective invites us to experience life not as isolated events but as a rich tapestry of relationships and moments. In this awakened state, suffering becomes a teacher. Difficult experiences offer opportunities for growth rather than obstacles to avoid. Joy arises naturally. Peace and contentment stem from alignment with truth, not external circumstances. Compassion guides action. Our choices embody care for ourselves and others. Mystery invites wonder. The unknown sparks curiosity instead of fear. Such a perspective transforms how we experience every aspect of life. The collective dimension of ignorance and awakening. On a societal level, ignorance manifests as cultural narratives, reinforcing separation, competition, and exploitation. Individual awakening contributes to a broader cultural shift toward understanding and compassion by challenging harmful systems, recognizing and transforming societal structures rooted in ignorance, building communities of practice, creating spaces where awakening is nurtured through shared reflection and support, modeling alternatives, demonstrating lives grounded in interconnectedness and compassion, educating future generations, introducing practices fostering awareness and wisdom early on. Our individual journeys of awakening thus weave into a collective movement toward a more compassionate and conscious world. The path of continuous awakening. Addressing ignorance through a Buddhist lens invites us onto a path of continuous awakening, recognizing that awakening is not a final destination, but an ongoing process of deepening awareness. This path includes embracing imperfection, accepting that growth unfolds through nonlinear, often messy processes. Cultivating patience. Understanding transformation takes time and kindness toward ourselves, participating in the larger mystery, surrendering to life's unknowns and trusting wisdom's unfolding, contributing to the web of life. Recognizing our awakening benefits not only ourselves but all beings. This continuous journey mirrors broader spiritual growth, embracing all facets of experience with openness, allowing us to live authentically in each moment. Final thoughts. The path of wisdom and compassion. In this profound exploration of Buddhist teachings on the interconnectedness of body, mind, and spirit, we have journeyed through the wisdom of understanding how our physical symptoms mirror karmic patterns, from chronic pain as unlearned lessons to fatigue as spiritual resistance. Each aspect of our physical experience serves as a gateway to deeper self-understanding and awakening. The body, in its profound wisdom, is not merely a vessel, but a sacred text inscribed with the stories of our soul. Every ache, discomfort, and symptom invite us to listen, reflect, and transform. The teachings remind us that suffering is not an endpoint, but a path, a way toward liberation through compassionate and curious embrace. The body's signals are guides, not punishments, leading us toward harmony with ourselves and the world. By cultivating mindfulness, practicing self-compassion, and aligning with our true purpose, we honor the wisdom our bodies convey. As we conclude this journey, we carry forward the understanding that awakening is continuous, not achieved by perfection, but through presence, courage to face truths, and compassion to embrace our humanity. The path of wisdom and compassion calls us to live fully in each moment, recognizing the sacred beauty of our experiences, even and especially in their imperfection. With gratitude for the teachings and the opportunity to walk this path together, we bow in acknowledgement of the light within each of us. The Buddha's whisper echoes, share and subscribe. As the Buddha taught, just as a candle cannot spread its light without burning itself, we must be willing to share our wisdom and light with others. In this spirit, we invite you to share these teachings with those who may benefit, allowing the light of understanding to illuminate many paths. If you have found value in this journey, we humbly ask you to subscribe to our channel. By doing so, you join a community of seekers dedicated to growth, compassion, and awakening. Together, we continue exploring the boundless wisdom of Buddhist teachings, supporting one another on the path